And we had to when we started doing this work, it's each one of us, the happiness level started increasing. So my happiness intention for today is like, again, when I meet you all today, when there is a different sort of sharing that is happening over here, my happiness level is going to increase. So my happiness intention for today is gather the happiness from this group and make an increase in my happiness level. So that's my intention for today for this session.
Thank you. Thank you, Pallavi. I've got a few people putting their thoughts on the chat as well, and I'll read them out. So somebody's saying, I'm generally a happy person, but others seem to make me unhappy.
Okay.
People are under pressure, so they take it out on the closest people to them. How can one deal with that? That's one. Somebody said, techniques to incorporate in our lives to enhance our lives.
Absolutely, yes.
Um, got somebody else saying, we are all looking at finding happiness outside.
Yes.
Got someone else saying, asking, well, basically his intention or his reason is really to learn how to be calm.
Yes.
And hopefully he will achieve this by the end of this session.
Yes. Exactly. And thank you all for sharing. And one thing that came up, like other people make me unhappy. How do I stay happy? So that's exactly something that we would be having a little bit of insights on that how we are responsible for our own happiness, and rightfully, like how to stay calm and how to build that inner happiness for ourselves, how to look for that happiness within ourselves and how to create that. Hopefully, each one of us would have some takeaway after this session. So what is happiness? Basically, each one has a different definition for happiness. Each one feels that today, if I have a good meal, it's happiness for me. For some, it would mean that, oh, if I have a Mercedes for myself, I would be happy. Some would feel my happiness lies in my family. So all these definitions of happiness are right and not so wrong. So happiness is something related to, you could say, an individual feeling and a feeling of satisfaction of those different emotions. You see, it could mean winning, having fame. It could mean money. And basically, happiness is an overall sense of experiencing more positive emotions than the negative ones. As a life that each one of us is experiencing, we are going to have the good thoughts and the not so good thoughts. We are going to have those positive emotions and not so positive emotions. Many people say that how to lead a positive life or how to have a positive everyday life. What happens if you overstress yourself with that positivity or that, oh yes, happiness is my goal? Instead of your blood pressure reducing, it is going to increase. So instead of getting a more calm self for yourself, you are going to be stressed. So it is this harmony or this balance of positive emotions and those not so positive emotions. That's why I refer to it as not so positive rather than saying negative. So basically, happiness is, again, it's an emotional state identified by different feelings of joy, excitement, contentment, fulfilling, satisfaction, and you could name those different positive emotions that you have. So it is also a subjective well-being, that how it is referred to most of the psychologists, the positive psychology, They refer to it as subjective well-being. So it is basically consisting of these two components, as I said, emotions and balancing those positive and not so positive emotions and your life satisfaction. Now, life satisfaction, again, for each one of us might mean a different thing. There are people who feel satisfied in getting, okay, fine, today I had a good night's sleep, I'm satisfied. My day went well, whatever I had planned today, it's going just that. So I'm satisfied. And if I meet somebody of my friend or somebody who makes me happy, that adds to my satisfaction. And this satisfaction is what? Again, those feelings or those emotions of happiness. So basically, happiness, if you see these two major components that come from your emotions or your feelings, of the good feelings that could come from any of the sources. It could be mainly from the relationships, because we are bound by the relationships, our family, our friends, our colleagues at the workplace. So what kind of emotions you have when you meet them? So how do you balance, how do you harmonize the positive and not so positive emotions, gives you the pathway to create or to get onto the journey of happiness. And if I would like to share with you all, happiness is not like having a smile all the time. It doesn't mean that, yes, I have to be excited all the time. I have to have those happy hormones every time. No, we all of us, as I said, this life, it has the beauty of those challenges. In fact, the feeling that you have after those challenges, when you've overcome, adds to the beauty of the happiness that you get after that. Most of you all must have watched the movie The Pursuit of Happiness, in which Will Smith was there. It's a lovely movie. If you all haven't watched, please do watch. It's based on a true story, that how he undergoes different challenges, his family, his work and everything. His son is there. All of them are grinding in that thing of challenges. But when Will Smith overcomes those challenges and he's out over there, like he just says, this is what is happiness for me. This is the little thing that I feel happy about. Because he's lost everything, almost lost everything. But he tells himself that one day things are going to be okay. Things are going to be fine. And he takes actions. And that those actions translate into the happiness that he discovers later on. Now, what determines happiness? There are some major contributors to lasting happiness. We would say the circumstances and everything. As we said, that some people make me unhappy. There are many reasons that make me unhappy. But let me share with you, there are three major components or other contributors to lasting happiness. They are the circumstances, your genetic set point of happiness, and your activities that you do. Now, many of us might think, oh my God, circumstances are responsible for all this. Most of the circumstances make me unhappy. Is that so? Just look at this. There are just 10% of what makes you unhappy, or it makes you happy. And this is a very short-term influencing happiness. You see that many people, they have ample of money and they are there with all the riches and everything, but still they are not happy. Why does that happen? Because only 10% of the components of this might lead to your happiness, and it is short-lived. The 50% set point. This is what you get from your genes. I am blessed that I have these happy genes in place. My parents have given me those happy genes and I'm here. So it doesn't matter. Some of us might have a lower set point, some of us might have a higher set point. So this is something that maybe we cannot control, but how do we overcome if we have a lower set point? We do certain intentional activities that consist of 40% of the happiness. And this 40% of happiness is under your control. Isn't that a good news? Isn't that a happy news? For all those of us who are aiming to have a calm life, who are having a peaceful life, who want to lower our blood pressure, who want to not have stressful lives, that 40% is in our hands. And we can do everything that we can bring that happiness for ourselves. You love this quote by Maya Angelou. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Don't complain. So we need to take responsibility of our own happiness. We need to be accountable for our own happiness. And how can you do that? You see that lovely boy sitting out over there is smiling and he's laughing because he's taken the responsibility of his happiness, that come what may, I'm going to be happy. Choose to be happy. Happiness is a choice. Each one of us can make that choice for ourselves. So happiness begins with you. And this choice, if taken early in your life, I'm sure the happiness is going to be flowering. And it's never too late to begin. So make the right choice, choose happiness, and let the flower of happiness, the garden of happiness flourish. Now, when we are true to ourselves, or rather when we be ourselves, when we are self-aware, we know how to balance those emotions and feelings of not so good and good feelings. So we need to be in harmony with ourselves. You need to have that self-awareness that what is that triggers that unhappiness for me. You need to be aware of your emotions. You can't blame somebody else that, oh, I see you and I become unhappy, or your acts make me unhappy. Why does that happen? What are your strengths? How can you overcome that? So you need to be aware of your emotions. You need to have a control over your emotion. Not control, I would say. It should be how you could monitor and regularize those not so good feelings. Be happy doing the things on your own without having somebody else to validate you. This happens for everything, not only happiness, but every action that we take, we always wait for somebody else that, yes, it should be validated by somebody else. And only then you have that feeling of, yes, I've done something worthy. Start with that self-love, start with the self-care. Do things that make you happy. You will see that whatever happiness you get, you would be spreading it across and people would love to have you. So don't wait for the validation of others. Have faith and believe in yourself. The story that I shared from the happiness of pursuit of happiness, it was that he had faith himself. He had belief in himself that, yes, things are going to be bright for me. Happiness is there on my path. He took actions and, yes, he could see the light of happiness. So in these challenging times, people who had faith in themselves, people who took actions, people who believed that, yes, there is a better tomorrow, they are here. They are here in the sense they can see the light of happiness. Because happiness gives you the strength, the day by day, the happiness that you build for yourself, it gives you the strength to overcome the obstacles. It gives you the strength to go ahead. And how do you reshape your thoughts? You need to, again, like when you are in sync with yourself, when you know that something is going wrong, you will take the onus of it, and you will take the action to reshape your thoughts. So that if you feel that, yes, some things are not going as per my, like they're not happening right, and the things are not making me happy, let me get back on the track. Let me reshape my thoughts. Because when you start relying too much on other people for your happiness, you start getting the stress. You start getting that feeling of unhappiness trickle into your lives to such an extent that you start blaming everything to the others for your unhappiness. This pandemic was not in our control. Calamities are not in our control, but how do we see ourselves through that calamities? How do we overcome the obstacles? That's in our hands. To reshape our thoughts. If you think that no, nothing can happen, everything is going to go out of my hands and it's going to be just worse for all of us, it's going to be that way. But if you start thinking a little bit more that, okay, let me have a strategy how to work out from these challenges, I'm sure we can make a good go with it. And as I said, happiness is a journey. Everyone wants to live on top of the mountain, but the happiness happens along the road, along that journey. When you're climbing that mountain, I'm sure most of us must have experienced this. Whenever you're going anywhere, just imagine the kind of journey that you've traversed to go to your destination. It's beautiful. And even in day-to-day lives, as I said, these challenging times, once they are over and once you reflect upon your journey through the challenging times, you'll enjoy it. You'll feel that happiness. And you just look back and you see, oh my God, I've come such a long way. So start building this happiness journey for yourself. Happiness, make happiness a way of life. And rightfully, most of you all have said, like, don't search for happiness anywhere else. You can make that happiness happen for you. So search that happiness within you. Each one of us has it. We just need to embrace it. And there we are with the happy life for ourselves and for others. So how do you live a happier every day? Every day we must unlearn the ways that hold us back, or things that will give that negativity to us. So we should get rid of the negativity so we can learn to lead a happier life. Start the happiness work today. When we say practice random acts of kindness, we saw in pandemic, many people were giving food, they were giving donations, and all these things were happening out of random act of kindness, and this was helping you to lead a happier life. We need to nurture relationships. Think of the ways that will make you happy. Develop strategies to cope with the stressful situations. Think optimistically and learn to forgive with no selfish motives. Learn to forgive. Practice and express gratitude and appreciate the small joys of life. Many of us know of that thing that the glass, is it half full or half empty? I would like to, most of us like the perspective of, yes, the glass is half filled, but I would also like it to keep it half empty, because unless the glass is half empty, I wouldn't be open to receiving happiness. So as we say, yes, we have to spread happiness, but we should also be open to receiving happiness. This, what it means is that when you tell yourself that, yes, I want to be happy, things are going to make me happy, open your arms to receiving that happiness. Now, if you just close your arms and you say, you just sit like this and you say, oh, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling happy, just see it for yourself. What are your thoughts? Are you feeling happy? And if you open your arms wide and you say, I'm stressed, I don't feel good, it's just the opposite, isn't it? You open your arms to happiness, you open your arms to abundance. And all these things are going to lead to a happier life. The impact of happiness is obviously it helps to build those coping skills necessary to get through these challenging times. It definitely increases the satisfaction with life. It's said that healthier people have a longer life, but what is more responsible is happiness. Happiness leads to a healthier life and a longevity. So if you're looking for those old age memories and everything, start being happy. It builds those stronger relationships, and the bonding happens more. You can say each one of you, the people are looking out. Yes, if such and such a happy person is with us, we are so happy. So that bonding is becoming stronger. Resilience, it increases the resilience, which is most needed in the challenging times. Happiness, building, resilience, and this resilience helps to see us through the challenging times. It increases definitely the immunity. You would be falling lesser sick, and it creates an overall state of well-being. You're harmonizing your emotions, you are balancing your relationships, you're having a healthy life. So you are looking forward to a overall well-being of yourself. And when there is so much of impact of happiness, so much of things surrounding happiness, how can it be short-lived? We are building ourselves for sustainable, happy life. So yeah, don't let unfavorable circumstances discourage you. We have to accept this these not so good situations. We have to accept what is happening around you. So happy people are not those people who run away from the difficulties or who run away from the situations. It is just that maybe at that time they would not be in that mood of, like, obviously you would not be smiling if you have lost something valuable. So you have to have those unfavorable circumstances in your life, accept that, but see how you would be overcoming those circumstances. Adaptability to change. All these things, when we realize that what pandemic has brought changes in our lives, what the pandemic has done to the economic changes that it has got. So all these things, if we adapt to these changes and if we know those strategies to build on these changes and to welcome those changes in our life, we would be having our happiness. And don't look at others or other situations as a source of your happiness, because those situations, whenever they happen, if you're going to get triggered and you start on the unhappiness, your meter would be like this, going swaying. So if you are looking for long-term happiness, for sustainable happiness, these situations should not affect your happiness. Momentarily it will affect, but not as a long term. And we need to accept and let go of the control. Things that are not in your control. If somebody tells something to you and that you cannot control what the other person is going to say, you cannot control the thoughts of other people. You need to accept how they are, and you need to let go of the control of those unhappy thoughts or of those unhappy situations that come across you, and live from the state of abundance. As I said, like, this is a way of manifesting even happiness, that when you know that yes, happiness is on your way, when you accept that feeling of abundance, that yes, I am going to be happy, or rather I am happy, I am living a happy life, all these things are going to lead to more and more happiness. Thank you so much. Thank you, each one of you, to adding to my happiness level today. And thank you so much for joining in today. And thank you, Umesh, for this wonderful opportunity that I could interact with each one of them. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Pallavi. Thank you for an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
And if anyone's got any questions, any thoughts, anything they would like to say, then please put it in the chat and I'll read it out. In the meantime, Pallavi, I've got a question.
Yes.
You talk about learning to forgive.
Yes.
Um, some pain can be so, it can be so, the pain is so great, so much, that it is quite difficult to forgive. Any thoughts on how one can do that? How can we learn to forgive? Are there any thoughts or strategies or anything that you would like to share?
Yes. Forgiveness, like it definitely, like if it is very painful, it would not be instantly. Like you wouldn't love, means no matter what, you feel that yes, something must have gone wrong, and that is why this thing happened to me, or this is why the person did this to me. But at that moment, you are going to feel hurt. So instead of going in the denial mode, we need to accept that such a thing has happened to us. So first is the acceptance mode, that yes, something has happened to me. Then it could, see, for some people it could happen that they might it could take a longer time to forgive, but for some it could happen easily. But we need to practice this, as I said, as how kindness comes with your heart, so also forgiveness should come from within.
Excellent. Thank you for that,
And yeah,
Pallavi.
so we need to accept it, and over a period of time, you will realize that it is easy to forgive. And
Yes,
forgiveness is healing, not only for that, for yourself, but also for the other person, because this forgiveness sends those positive vibes across, that yes, somebody has forgiven me, and the other person who is out over there is receiving that forgiveness.
true. Absolutely. Thank you for
I
that,
hope somewhere
Pallavi.
I answered. Yeah.
Yes, no, definitely. Um, if anyone else has got any questions, any thoughts, please put it
Any
in the chat
concerns?
and we will take each question as they come. Um, in the meantime, Pallavi, do you want to talk about a workshop that you are intending to do in the next within the
Yes.
next few weeks?
Yes. Yes. May I?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And before I go on to the slide, that's my email and my website. People could reach out over there. And of course, Umesh is there also. This is a workshop that planning to do at the end of this month, October. It is on how to build different streams of happiness. And this would be a deeper session, which would have a lot of interactions, a lot of, you could have those happiness activities that are happening during the workshop and post the workshop. So we have, normally we say that what are the different streams of earning an income and all those things, but here it is, we are going to build, or rather create, those different streams of happiness for ourselves. So we would be covering how to leverage those various sources of happiness that we already have with us or that are around us. How do we build upon those sources? And we would be looking to more holistic approach to our happier life. So when I say holistic approach, it would not be just that, okay, fine, you do certain thing today and then it's done, or all that thing. This workshop will build upon that holistic approach to a happier life, which would be followed by 7 days of activities. So what the workshop doesn't stop with those that very day. It would happen for next 7 days of activities that we would be doing over the whole week. So it will cover the whole, you could say, the workshop, not only for one day, but it would happen, those activities would be happening for 7 days. You wouldn't be attending any classes for that day, for those 7 days. I would be posting the activities, and then together we could have those sharings and everything. And those activities will definitely lead to having those various streams of happiness for yourself.
Great. Thank you, Pallavi. And am I right in saying that this would be on a Sunday? Uh,
Yes.
and you, the date is yet to be fixed?
Yes, I would be sharing the details with you, Umesh, the timing, and of course, it's a Sunday, but we could discuss and finalize the date. It is happening at the end of this month. So let me have a discussion. We could have a discussion, and then we could finalize upon the details, as I said, the timing and the exact date. And we could then share the details with others. And
That's fine.
how about the payments and everything that we could share later on.
That's perfectly fine. Absolutely. So,
Thank
and
you so much.
just to let everyone know, that it would be roughly about 2 to 2.5 hours
Yes, yes,
on a Sunday, possibly around lunchtime,
yes, yes.
UK,
That's
UK
yes,
lunchtime.
UK lunchtime. So everybody is at a happy zone at that time. UK afternoon, and I think India it would be evening time, and people from other zones or time zones also can join in.
Yeah, it would be a convenient time for almost everyone. Okay. Any thoughts, any questions? Uh, Please put them on the chat.
Shall I stop sharing the screen?
If you want to, yeah, that's fine.
So we are open to questions like
Sure.
this. Any thoughts anybody would like to share? Like after when we did the meditation, I said the sharing could happen later on. So just a thought that yes, what was your happiness scale, or on let's say from 1 to 10, when you entered the session, what was your happiness scale at? And now post the session, where do you see yourself on the scale? That could be a wonderful sharing, I feel.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Some people are always happy, and they're kind of more or less flat, aren't they? There's no kind of up or down. It's just a consistent happiness.
Yes, we could take that clock pendulum, the way it moves, it sways across the different circumstances and everything. And yes, it's there, as you rightly said, at the set point, it is there always. So they are there at that happiness point. Thank you so much, Rohini. Thank you. Oh, that's lovely. Beginning was 5, now it's 9. On the happiness scale, I'm so happy. Anything anybody would love to share regarding happiness, or what are your different thoughts? Anything? This Sunday evening has been a happy evening for me, and hopefully for all of us. So thank you, Umesh. Thank you for this
No,
wonderful evening.
it's an excellent session, and I think everyone's enjoyed, and everyone, I'm sure, has gained something out of this. Um, I think one thing: does material things bring long-term happiness? I think that's a question I would want to ask you.
It comes in that 10%.
Yeah,
So 10% happiness is just that 10%. So material things are the circumstances that we might be blessed with for maybe for that short term. Yes, there was a story like there was a person. If I just have 2 or 3 minutes, may I, Umesh?
yes, of course.
Yeah. Uh, there was a person like, yeah, he goes, these lotteries that we have. So he purchases a lottery ticket, and on the day of the result, he's just hoping that, oh my God, I should get this lottery ticket for myself and I should win the lottery. And guess what? He wins it. Oh my, he's so happy, he's on top of the world. And that materialistic thing that you were just now speaking about, yes, there was happiness everywhere. Oh, I'm so happy, I'm so happy. And he went on purchasing so many things and gathering so many materialistic things for himself. The money, after a few days, what happens? Obviously the pot of money is trickling down, and he sees that his happiness is also trickling. And this is one part of the story. The second part of the story is his friend also wanted to buy the ticket. He was also on the way to buy the lottery ticket, and a sad thing happens. He meets with an accident. So obviously he's not happy. He has to go through the pain of that accident, that not so good thing that happened to him. And the same time as this person is enjoying his lottery benefits, his win of lottery, the same time this person is going through the pain and everything, but he is building up his resilience, he is building up his coping skills, and he comes out through that sad incident. After he comes out of that sad incident, anybody of us, what would be the feeling? The happiness feeling that, yes, I have survived the accident, and here today I am living a happy life. Meanwhile, his friend over there, that winning lottery amount is getting lesser and lesser, and his unhappiness starts trickling in. So you see, the materialistic thing that was falling in that 10%, yes, it did give happiness, but for how much time?
Short term.
And this, when he did the intentional activity of 40%, building upon that resilience and coping up skills, this happiness is going to be sustainable happiness. I hope somewhere it answers.
Yes, thank you. So we got a question over here, Pallavi.
Yes.
How can we sum up happiness in one statement?
Oh, lovely. Happiness in one statement, which I keep sharing, and which is very like, I feel happiness is peacefulness. When you go through all those things of the not so good things and painful things which are happening with you, and when you reach there, like, yes, today I'm feeling happy, and just see the kind of feeling that you feel. It's absolute peace. It's absolute that calmness that you get. This is what I feel. This is my views. Maybe for you, happiness could mean something else. But for me, happiness is definitely peacefulness. Because happiness brings us joy, it brings excitement and everything. And the stream that we were speaking of, that flowing of that stream, after everything, the waves and the turbulence that happens, it is a calm flowing stream. So that is happiness for me. Happiness is peace. Happiness is peacefulness for me. Thank you. Wow, this is excellent. Rather than only personal happiness, how many people are happy because of me is the real happiness. Thank you for sharing this lovely thought. Thank you so much. Thank you, Divya. Really good session. Thank you so much. Gorak Shikre has shared the thoughts. Excellent session. Thank you so much. I can't get, how do we pronounce that?
It's Malik Sultan Chivani.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Malik Sultan.
She's a regular person attending all of our sessions every Sunday.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. Thank you, Bhupendra ji. Many thanks for your topics on happiness, and it was excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vibhuti Shah. Thank you once again, Rohini Shah. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the session that we would be having in the last week of October. Umesh, I would be discussing with Umesh and sharing the details. And let's get on to the journey together of this happiness.
Excellent. Yes, definitely. Coming up to 6 o'clock. In fact, it's just 2 minutes past 6 o'clock. So we are going to close this session at this point in time. I don't think there are any other questions or thoughts in the chat. Um, okay. Ashit Thakkar says,
Okay.
thank you for the wonderful session. Thank
Gratitude
you
to
for
all.
joining.
Gratitude.
And with that, I think I'm going to say thank you to everyone for joining this afternoon. And we'll meet again next week to listen to another speaker for another topic. I'll be posting the details on Tuesday. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Gratitude. Thank you.